Winning one Champions League is the ultimate prize for a club, but we're going to win all three by completing a pentagon challenge. The goal of the challenge is to win all three of the Champions Leagues on FIFA, plus the MLS, and the World Cup with an African team. We've now won two, and as always, I won't be picking the teams I'll be using. Instead, we'll be letting ChatGPT pick our next team, our style of play, and transfer strategy, proving that robots can be the ultimate assistant manager. So which continent are we conquering today? Over to ChatGPT. It's time to head to Asia, taking over Korean team FC Seoul. They actually compete in the Asian Champions League this season, but as it takes place in June, we'll get 6 months to prepare for the tournament. Let's find out how we're going to be lining up. We're starting with a pretty cool squad. Our best 11 has 7 South Koreans, 2 Eastern Europeans and a Spaniard, and there's no reason to say the 4-4-2 formation can't give us a top 2 finish this season. But of course, ChatGPT isn't done yet. We have 2 other goals. One's to grow a Korean player to be 75 overall, and the other one is to find an African player with at least 88 potential. Now, 88 potential isn't super rare, so we'll be sending out our scouts to Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and putting one in South Korea. Take a look at this first month's set of reports. It's a real shame we'll be moving around, because some of these players could become absolute Korean League legends. Maybe we'll see them in our World Cup squads come the Africa part of this challenge. But back to the present day, our defence was looking slightly too slow to compete, and the club captain Osmar decided it was time to retire. So we splashed half of our £3 million budget on 37-year-old Ivan Marcono and Jo Jin Woo, and we instantly looked a lot more solid at the back. The majority of the rest of the budget was spent on young players who we can get over 75 overall for the challenge, but the most exciting signing was a 6'8" Serbian called Faisal Mulic. He goes straight into our starting 11 for the first game of the season, but to say it was a disappointing debut would undersell it. Missing chance after chance, finally on his 5th one-on-one he just about found the net, but that one goal he scored could have at least been 3. We got our draw for the Champions League group stage, including Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr, but we still had a few games in the league we needed to play before that competition started. We started getting to a nice bit of form, saving penalties, scoring one-on-ones, and being ready to work for the title according to the media. But all of a sudden, it was time for that first game of the season against Wuhan 3 Towns. These guys are by far the worst team in the group, but we are probably also the second worst team in the group, so it was going to be a hard game nonetheless. We had a few chances hitting the post before we got a one-on-one in the 69th minute. Ayesh found the corner, the Syrian winger, putting us 1-0 up, and we'd won our first game of the Asian Champions League. But next up was this man's team. Cristiano Ronaldo, 40 years old at this point, and we went in early on him. We got him injured after just 4 minutes, breaking his toe. Mulic could have put us 1-0 up. Cho Jung-woo could have got a penalty there before Mulic turned, the shot going just wide. Ronaldo getting a chance from the 6-yard box, saved really well. If there's one player you don't want to be shooting from there, it's Ronaldo. But Al Ghanam would put Al Nassr 1-0 up after 74 minutes. Hwang would have a chance to equalise, but look at this. It bounces straight back to Hwang, and this time he doesn't miss. It's a goal that's really important for us because we don't want to be finishing third and going out in the group stage. In fact, we were actually first in the group stage, which is a really good position to be in. This was the easiest game of the group stage by far. We headed to Wuhan, we got an early 1-0 win, and that's basically the only attack they had. But this was the big news. Cristiano Ronaldo had still broken his toe from that game against us. He'd be missing, and we were playing Al Nassr, so this was going to be a massive chance for us to get another 3 points and basically qualify. The ball did go in the net there, but apparently it went out for a corner, and Mulic showed why he has so much strength, putting 2 people on the floor, playing across to Pavlovic, and then the cross powered in by Young Wook at the back post. Al Nassr would have a chance as well, but Gil would be more than equal to it, and we would be through to the quarter-finals, where we'd be playing Shandong from China. There were still ages until this game, nearly 2 months until the quarter-finals, so why don't we catch up and see how we're doing in the K-League. Well, this game against Seongnam went pretty decently. We hit the post, and Young Wook would then fire us ahead before Palosevic would get a penalty straight in the top corner. It was going to be another win for FC Seoul. Korea's best team, Jeonbuk Hyundai, tried to steal our best striker, Hwang. Of course, they're in first place, and of course, they're playing us just 3 days after the transfer offer, but their strikers did well enough, and they beat us 1-0, so they don't really need our striker after all. So now it's finally time for the quarter-final game, playing against Son Jun-ho, who of course is the top scorer in the AFC Champions League. we were going to have to be on our best defensively and attacking. Look at Mulic right here, just getting on the end of 2 chances, proving how much of a threat he can be. This was the real threat though. His positioning intercepts the pass, weird pass from the goalkeeper straight to him, and he puts us 1-0 up just before half time. Their top scorer managed to injure Marcano, which is a bit of a shame because he is our club captain. Hopefully he's not out for too long. We'd have a couple of other chances, this shot rolling just wide of the net, and Liu Bin would get a chance, well saved by Gil, catches the rebound. But this was the real talking point. This was given as a penalty. It's either outside the box or the lightest touch. I'm not really sure what's going on, but it doesn't matter because we saved the penalty anyway. What a performance this has been from Gil, but Mulic and Huang have been just as good, and they've given us a 2-0 lead to take to China and try and rescue a place in the semi-finals of the AFC Champions League. I haven't seen anything we can really be threatened about by them so far, so we have a good chance now of getting through to the semi-finals. We got an early penalty, which was calmly Panenkaed into the top corner to put us 3-0 up on aggregate. They would have a chance right here, but that was again probably their best chance of the game. We nearly scored a really good overhead kick, but that was it. 3-0, we were through to the semi-finals. We were going to be playing the Urara Red Diamonds, a team that had beaten Jeonbuk, who of course are the best team from Korea, 4-4 in the quarter-finals. The Red Diamonds have got to the Champions League final on 3 occasions and won it in 2007 and 2017. So when we had chances like this from Huang, we really did need to put them away because they have a bit of history in this competition. Chung-wook again went near post when he probably could have pulled it across. Carlson had a shot that went over the bar, but Dutchman Brian Linson would fire one into the back of the net right along the floor and put the Red Diamonds up 1-0. We would have to press and try and get a home goal here. When Hang So got through on goal, tried to go around the goalkeeper, I thought that was game over, but Mulic would get one last chance. He pulled it across and Huang was there. The hero of the squad, the oldest man in the squad as well, and our star striker had brought us level at home, so that meant we were going to have to go to Japan and we were going to have to try and win. If we wanted to get through to the final, we had to beat the Red Diamonds at the Saitama Stadium. Sakine could have probably finished us off right there early on, but look at the threat that just having Mulic, even if he's injured, he's still not going to get beaten in the air. We had another chance here, volleyed straight at the goalkeeper before Chung-wook would get through one-on-one, this time finding the net. So we were 1-0 up, we just had to keep it here, and we were through to the final. Marcano would try and block a Linson shot, but unfortunately would catch him. Akimoto would step up, he would hit it to the left, off the post, into the back of the net, so this was going to extra time. We had our first chance in extra time with Huang, a massive touch one-on-one on the goalkeeper, he pulls it back, and there's no way that Willian is missing that. We haven't got time for a big celebration, we want another one. Huang would leap highest from the corner, and yet again Huang had saved the day and put us 3-1 up, and we had the chance to avenge the 2013 Asian Champions League final, where FC Seoul actually lost on away goals. It was just a 1-leg knockout this time instead of a 2-leg one like it was back then, but with Ivan Marcano deciding this was probably going to be his last chance at winning a trophy, the captain had everything to play for. Al Duhail had a few well-known players from Europe, Adlen Guediora, probably the most well-known of them, but I don't think the rest of their squad's really that scary. I think the Red Diamonds, and I think Jeonbuk, if they had made it to the final instead of Al Duhail, would have been a much tougher final. So we were going into this one fairly confident. Na Sang-ho would get a cross in, Mulic would head it straight at the goalkeeper again, a decent chance he probably could have scored from. Cohen would play it to Olunga, but well saved by Gil, making a habit of making those good saves. Mulic would get through one-on-one, and this time, unlike that first game of the season, he would get one chance and score his one goal. Celebrating with a very uncharacteristic flip, you see how much it meant to him and the entire team. Halosevic tried to pull one across to Mulic, but it didn't quite have enough gas on it, so it didn't quite make it to him. Chung-wook would play it through to Mulic yet again, but not so good on this occasion. You might be wondering where all the Al Duhail chances are. Well, that was probably their best one of the second half. When you could see how easy it was for us to make it, just due to the amount of pace and strength we had compared to them, Ayash ran basically the length of the pitch. It would have been such a good goal if that had found the top corner. Finally, Al Duhail did start to threaten. Cohen got a volley in. The ball nearly fell to them, but it was well blocked by Han Chi-hee, and we would have the chance to finish the game just by passing it round the goalkeeper yet again. Another pullback goal, but who cares? We've now won the Asian Champions League. Not as dramatic as some of the other finals, and probably the easiest of the 3 to win, just sheerly because of the quality of the teams in the competition. We had a fairly good team here. We got one of our players up to 75 overall, and we did find a couple of Africans. We just didn't really have enough time to really promote them and get them back into the squad. So we did have a really nice squad. I really enjoyed using FC Seoul, and I'm glad I finally got them an AFC Champions League, especially after how they lost the last one on away goals. That's got to be such a tough way to take a defeat. But there we are. We've lifted the trophy, and FC Seoul have a Champions League. And Vitor Pereira now has an MLS. He has a Copa Libertadores and an Asian Champions League. So next up is Europe, of course, for Champions Leagues, which is the final Champions League. But we do also have the World Cup with an African team. And I did ask you guys on Discord which teams or which leagues you'd like me to look into. So I have got it narrowed down to 3, and we'll be asking ChatGPT to suggest a team in one of those 3 leagues. Doesn't matter how many seasons it'll take, we're going to try and win a Champions League with that team. But thank you for watching, subscribe so you don't miss part 4, cheers and goodbye.